The Biden swamp. Remember Russia collusion? It was supposed to be Trump working with Putin to get elected in 2016, except it turned out the only actual collusion was Hillary working with the Russians to try and stop Trump getting elected. And while Trump's actual policies hurt Putin, Biden has become Putin's puppet, sabotaging our energy industry while boosting Russia's. And now we know why. It turns out that Biden, in violation of his own ethics pledge, got campaign cash from a well-known Russian lobbyist ahead of his decision to drop sanctions against Nord Stream 2, the company building an oil pipeline from Russia to Germany. All of this despite Biden's own State Department admitting that Nord Stream 2, controlled by an ex-East German Stasi officer and close ally of Vladimir Putin, is indeed engaged in sanctionable activity. Jason Chaffetz is here to explain, if you can.
Joe, say it isn't so. Come on. You blame Trump every single step of the way, saying he was embedded in collusion with Russia. Millions of dollars later, there was nothing. They don't have a single thing on him. But you start looking at the Biden record, and hey, we're only days into this administration, and guess what? He's already violating his own ethics pledge. He's been taking money from people he said he wasn't going to take money from, and Russia has gotten exactly what they wanted. They shut down the Keystone Pipeline within days or hours of the administration. Meanwhile, Joe Biden wants to go out and allow them to build their own Nord Stream 2 pipeline. It makes no sense. It's not good for the United States of America, and Joe Biden has done nothing to explain this because, of course, he never gets any tough questions from our national media.
Exactly. By the way, I mean, you and I talk about this often in the name of this segment. We call it the Biden swamp. Feels like we might as well sort of change the name to violating his own ethics pledge, because it's every single time. We had with Kamala Harris the other day. I mean, it's just actually unbelievable, the sort of brazenness of it. Here's another one, which is just listen to these details. This was a story about what you talk about the military-industrial complex. Like, we already knew that Lloyd Austin, Biden's pick for defense secretary, he's ex-Raytheon, massive defense contractor. But look at all these other ones. Frank Kendall, picked by Biden to lead the Air Force. He's another ex-VP from Raytheon. And this guy, Ronald Moultrie, Undersecretary for Defense and Intelligence, something, whatever, I don't know. He has he's been at a dozen military consulting firms and contractors. And now he's inside the Pentagon.
And it's Joe Biden himself that set these standards. I mean, look, he had been there for 50 years. He knows exactly how this works. He didn't have to take that pledge, but he did that. He tried to sell himself as, oh, I'm going to be, Joe Biden, I'm Mr. Ethics. But Joe Biden has problems with ethics every single step of the way. He had to walk out of a previous presidential campaign because of plagiarism. He does not understand this. He lives in this mystical world that I just don't understand. He set the standard, and he violates it within days later.
I know. I mean, the whole thing is so dishonest. There's this aspect. I mean, the whole presidency is dishonest. He's supposed to be the sort of centrist moderate, and yet he's going far left with the economic policies, says he'll be clean and not corrupt like Trump. It's just corruption is like going through every appointment.
Well, that's why you're going to have a continual weekly segment right here on this show, because it is nonstop. So I look forward to joining you in a week or two, and we'll talk about another one.
Well, it is always great. The great benefit of that, the silver lining in the cloud, is that we get to see you. Thank you so much, Jason, for being with us. Thank you for watching.
Thanks,
Don't forget to set your DVRs so you never miss a show. See you next Sunday when the next revolution will be televised.